Alrighty, let's get started. So, last time we had an economy system that was working-ish, so we could set what defenders existed. Where did I put that? That's right here. So yeah, down here we've got these structure definitions, and they can set some defensive requirements. And then strategy assets also have their military requirements, which we see here. So it requires 10 squads of peacekeeping is essentially what that says at level 0. And then we can ramp that up as time goes by. We don't really care about that just yet. Let's drop this as well. So we'll drop that down to 7 peacekeepers. Okay, and those squads are defined by roles up here. And eventually we'll probably use them to determine some AI behavior. But for the moment, they just get used for determining which squads are suitable to fill a particular role. So the idea being that the peacekeeper role will get fulfilled by 1 shield bearer and 5 stun lancers. And what we're going to do with that down the track is mean that you can sort of assemble. So the military economy will build out a bunch of character templates. So there'll be a bunch of units, and then it needs to create them into squads to actually satisfy its defensive requirements. So whenever there's a pod, it should have some sort of logical structure, so it knows what its role is in the space. Yeah. So what we're going to do first off is we're going to load out these cities with some amount of units. So going to grab the template, strategy asset rather. So we've got this concept of a struct. You're going to need to depend on strategy asset as well, just so we can get access to this. Now, eventually, what I'm gonna want to do is set it up so that these cities get sort of randomly constructed. But I'll probably just keep it simple to start off with. Where do I build these cities? Yeah, here we go. So you can see here where I'm loading up these cities with gene clinics and supply centers. What we're gonna do is make it so instead we're going to use config to determine these. And maybe we give them a bit of a spread so that they can go within some sort of range within that. Yeah, that's what we'll do. Yeah, so we've got these. So you've got structures and you've got initial inventory as well. We can do a little bit of that. And once so structures, initial inventory, and initial military presence. That's what we'll be looking at. Nice spotting. Thanks, Forever Jumper. Yeah, there are some commas missing after ID names. I should get a linter. I've said this before. And what I'm thinking is after I've got this military stuff worked out, I'm going to take a step back and jump into some Highlander stuff. Mainly because I want to get the Highlander running so that I can avoid having to use overrides, because I've got a lot of overrides on this mod and it might be good to cut down a few of them, but also when I go into tactical stuff I'm going to need a lot of the road that's been paved for that sort of stuff. Anyway, so I need some structure here. We've got a struct, initial city config. City init state. Yeah, we'll just do that. Super specific, so it'll probably never get taken up. So we are going to want a var array of structures. Just some names will do. We will want some artifact costs. Inventory. And then an array of generic unit count. Units, and yeah, we'll put that on reserves. Yep. Okay, gr city init state, and then we'll throw that in config. So we've got an array of gr init city init state. Capital init states. And then slum init states. And we'll just get it to randomly pick from these to start off with. We'll just go with that. Okay. Actually, this reminds me, to avoid going against the grain, FT plugin Unreal script, expand tab. I'm doing it. I'm using tabs. I don't normally do it, but I think it's time I changed over, considering all of Unreal Script works that way. Everyone seems to use tabs. Okay. Oops. It's lane config. My bad. It's a shame I lost the highlighting. I have to find out why that is. I'll be right back. Just got to sort something out. Alrighty, back to it. So capital init states, we're looking at structures. So for the moment we'll just go for yeah, we'll just go for a whole lot of 2 gene clinics, 6 supply centers, just like we've had before. And next up, inventory. So this is an artifact cost, so it comes with an item template name, which will be supplies, and a quantity, which will be, let's say, 1,000, just to start off with. Yeah, and then provisions. Start everything off with food as well. Right, next up. Reserves. Alright, what am I looking for? Strategy asset and generic unit count. Right. So we're looking at character template. Let's change all these. Alright, Advent, Shield Bearer, M1, quantity, let's go for 10 of you. Yeah, whole bunch of pods. What else do we need? Each of the structures has a defensive profile too. M1, alright, that'll do. Let's drop that down to 10. Cool, alright. Capital init states. Alright, we'll chuck in 2 farms, take it to supply center, call it a day. We'll drop the supplies down and we'll drop the provisions down. Deal. Okay. So now that we've done that, we've got this init state. We will make use of that init state. Yeah, so we'll pick one at random. And then we'll make use of it. So local init index equal gr city init state init state. Alright, so if it's a capital, we will do something that sort of looks like this. So that's going to come from default .r capital init states .length. And then city init state will come from default .r capital init states 0. Sorry, not 0, init index. And all that's the same here, except instead of coming from that, it's going to be a slum init state. And then we'll keep all this code together. So now instead of adding structure to type in this way, what we're going to do is iterate over each of those. So we'll iterate over so local artifact cost is init costs, local generic unit count, init unit counts, and then we need a name as well, local name, init structure name. Alright, so we get back to normal by going for each CCD for each city init state dot structures init structure name, and then we do that. We're back to square one as far as this stuff is concerned. Next off, inventory, init costs, and then city init state reserves, init unit counts. Right. So now we need to figure out the right way to add these in, keeping in mind inventory when it comes in adds to the game state. Add state object, sure. So it doesn't look like it commits or anything like that, which is good. So, with any luck, it's not put item in inventory, it's put cost in inventory. That's the one we want. So yeah, you give that a game state, it'll add the state object, and it'll create an instance from all this sort of stuff. So this should be suitable for that. So we'll just go CCZ, which is a strategy asset. So we go put cost in inventory, and we give it the game state, which is start state, and our init costs. All right. So next up, we need to need a function of bool put unit count in reserves, and that won't attach to the namestate. That doesn't care. It's going to be a generic unit count, and that's pretty much it. So we'll determine whether there's one that's already in existence that has that name. If it doesn't have that name, then it will just add to it, otherwise it'll change it. So what we're looking at local init state, sorry, local int one. So we're just going to find character template if it equals unit count dot character template. We'll look at the reserves because that's where it all comes from. Yep. Oh, okay. All right. So that's where we change over to inventory management. So let's go military management here. That is not the right thing. Okay, so alright, if unit count index, this is all just plumbing, it's not equal index none, then what we want to do is look into reserves dot reserves unit count index dot quantity count count plus equals unit count dot count. Else we're gonna throw it on the back. So reserves dot add item unit count, and she's done. And we'll just return true no matter what. It's not like there's any game state adjustments or anything like that. Alright, put unit count in reserves, and all we need to do is provide the unit count and it'll do the rest. Alright, so we might just start off by verifying whether this is the case. We've got a thing for debugging military states, so let's make use of that now. And all this will do is iterate over the asset's reserves and determine whether it's got them. So asset.reserves. Keep on typing that way. Alright, local generic unit counts. I don't need you. All I need to do is just throw it in there. So unit count dot template name, character template rather. Alright, that should be sufficient there. Let's find out if it is. Just kick the build tool over. This will take a while because it's the first one. And we'll see how we go. Alright, build errors, go. Always forget that. Finish with that. Alright, here we go. We had a whole bunch of errors there. What were my errors? Alright, yeah, so config, good. Group name H. There we go. Okay, that dealt with that. And then inside game board, we need to change this to count. Alright, round 2. That didn't have any config errors, which is good.
Of the Advent Coalition.
Keeping with their promise to you. While we prepare for new operations and continue our research, we can pass time by scanning at sites like this one. On your order, we'll start our scans on the surrounding area.
Go. Alright, so we're manned, and do we have economic inventory? Sure do. Alright, so that was that first upkeep tick, that's why they're all down a bit. That's good. Cool. We are a go. So now this stuff works. Next on the agenda is sorting out sorting out our assembly of squads. So what will happen is the region command AI yeah, here we go. So just here, we're assessing the military status. So we've got these statuses, and some of them will have like a deficit. There will not be enough squads to meet that quantity. So what we do is we need to go through each of these asset statuses and see if we can address the quantity required from the asset itself. So let's think about this. We call a function on it that goes can build squad, and if can build squad, build squad. That's really all there is to it. So assessing whether it can build squad, we'll look for each of the counts and just see whether it can look and see if there's enough in the counts to be able to do that sort of stuff. Yeah, that's it. All right, so what we'll do is we'll jump into strategy asset, because this is sort of military management stuff. So function bool can build squad from reserves. So yeah, strategy asset squad, which will have a role, a squad type, and a generic unit count. An array of generic unit counts. Cool. No, wait, that is a squad, but we want, so we've got squad manager, squad spawn manager. No, strategy manager. Can build squad definition from reserves. Righto, so that squad definition will, squad definition, squad def, and then we'll just carry on. Alright, so you can choose a template name or a group name. So what we really need to be able to do is look through a list and say, okay, what are the minimums we need of each? Yeah, what are the counts that we need? Something like that. It sort of looks like I'll need to get some threshold stuff in there. Like a little data structure that just counts how well it's going against that particular. Like set the needs and then... Like I know I want this level of flexibility, so even if it can, you know, bung in an M2 and an M1 of the same group name, that's fine. I sort of know I want that level of flexibility, but just guess I'll just need a little bit of a map to do that. Yeah, okay. What do I do? What do I do? The Google games. Yeah, they'll do that. Alright. So it can build squad definition from reserves. I need to count based on how many count units for group name. name. From template name. So template name's easy. So that one I can write straight away. Template. So yeah, we can take that and then we can just go, all right, we've got X amount of that unit, so it's all good. So just do that, and if that is the case, then we can return that. Otherwise return 0, because we've got none of that particular template name. Counting the groups, we need to go a bit further than that, because these are defined in templates. So the only way we can do this is to actually go and get the character template thingamajigger. So I'm just going to have to check out the API for that thing. Let's put that off to the side. All right. Let's count reserves. Reservers. So this one, we want to pull down an X2 character template manager. Alright, manager equals class X2 character template manager dot static dot get character template manager. Alright, local X2 character template. Alright. So now we need to run through all the unit counts. So local generic unit count, unit count. Alright, for each local int count, count equals 0, just to be explicit. Then for each reserves, which are all unit counts, we go unit count. And then we get template, which is going to be a manager dot find character template. Pardon me. We'll take that template. What will we do with that template? We will... it's a group name, I think. Let me double check. Character group name. That's it. Alright, so character group name. So if template group name, template.character group name equals group name, then we are good to go and we can add to the count. So plus equals unit count.count. And then at the end of all that we return count. Simple as that. Alright, just to avoid having another struct that looks exactly the same, we're going to have a count here, and then we're going to add a struct default properties. And that's for a reason, so that way I can use the squad member definitions here. And use them as a way to build up a count of what's required to satisfy that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Is it? Yeah, I think so. Okay. Okay, so member def, needed member def, and then we've got a squad definition. We've got an array of squad member definitions. Yep, and that'll start off empty. Alright, so the first thing we do is we merge everything together. So we're going to look at the squad def and go if for each squad def. Actually, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the squad def dot leader. So we're going to go needed member defs dot add item squad leader def leader. Then we'll go needed member def dot add item. Sorry, squad def dot followers. We're going to for each that, and that'll go member def. Alright, what we do with that? We will if member def dot template name okay, so it's going to be a group name or a template name. So what we'll do with that is we'll go, alright, so we need to count. Yeah, we got that template name. If it's a template name, we're going to look through the needed member defs. Existing need IX is basically what we're doing. So we're going to go needed member defs dot find template name member def dot template name. That'll give us a need need IX. So if existing need IX is not equal index none, then needed member defs dot existing need AX dot count equals member def dot count plus equals. Else you just add it to the end, just like before. Cool. Alright, let's do the same thing here, except it's going to be based on the template name, oh sorry, the group name. Alright, so after we've done that, we would have collected all the member defs that we need to, and they should be deduped, so they should only be one template name per, one group name per. So for each of those, then we can go for each needed member defs. Needed member def. So if needed member def dot template name equals this, nested ifs. Okay, so if count reserves from template name, that template name being needed member def dot template name, so if that is less than needed member def dot count, then we cannot build this squad. So we can return false. So we'll be doing the same thing down here and basically doing an early return if we find that we can't make it. And then this other one here is going to be same deal except based on a count of group name. So count reserves from group name. Group name. Needed member def count, return false. Now, it is potential that if you made a squad that had a combination of template names and group names, that you could end up sort of messed up here. Like if there was some troopers, and then because it doesn't overlap those counts. But I'm just gonna try and avoid thinking about that one for now. Because I don't think it's super important, and I think it's probably better that we just keep it moving forward. I don't think it'll happen that often. Like you'll either build something out of template names or you'll build it out of group names. And if you've got something that's got a group name and you're also requesting its template name specifically, then you might be doing something not quite right. All right. So for each of these, what we're going to do is go asset status. No, not asset status. We're going to go asset dot can build squad definition from reserves. Yeah, okay. So we've got a role. We need to get that role. Once we've got that, we need to go function. Throw some beats on. Alrighty. So what was I doing? Yeah, doing this stuff. For this function, so yeah, we can directly access stuff from this function. And so we want strategy. We want an array of squad definitions. Definitions for role. So fairly straightforward. We'll just get a local array of squad definitions. Alright, for each, wait, local squad def. For each default dot our squad definitions, squad def. Alright, so we'll just get this, yeah, just check if, yeah, so if squad def dot roles dot find role does not equal index none, then we have one and we can add it on. Valid defs dot add item squad def. Return valid defs is what I want to do here. Now I wonder if there's such a thing as shuffle Unreal script. I know. The easiest way to shuffle an Unreal script array. It's probably going to involve a rand of some description, but yeah, whatever. Okay. I just want a rand function. That's all I want. I don't. You should know. I don't really know how to do algorithms, but okay, so literally just keep on striking it out. Yeah. I don't like having to do that stuff manually. Anyway, it's fine. Alright, well, it's thrilling to implement Fisher Yates. I'd rather just get going towards what I want to do. I can come back and do that later. Alright, so advanced military tracks, we want the strategy manager. So let's go local global resistance strategy manager. We also want local squad definition, array squad definition. Couldn't you literally just run a what's it called, a sort function with a random call, and that would basically do it? It feels like that would work, but what do I know? Right, valid squad defs. Let's get the strategy manager first. So we need the strategy manager equals class strategy manager let's just do a thing where we check whether we can use each of these. So for each valid squad def if asset dot can build a squad definition from reserves squad def. Can build squad def dot id squad locally. That's all I want. Alright, let's just check that this part of the spike works, and then we'll go a bit further. None of you know what it is. That's alright. I'll add you to dependencies. That's dumb. Don't do that. Alright, let's try that. It didn't work again. Alright. Bad or missing expression 152. Alright. Let's get squad definitions for role. Status.role. And in the 146 of strategy asset, existing need IX. It doesn't find. Did I get this wrong? But it's always index, isn't it? Needed member defs. Oh yeah, right. Needed member defs. Typo. Yet more errors. 153. Alright, so valid squad defs comes out of get squad definitions for roles. Got a bunch of thingamajigs there, and then we got squad def is still an array of squad definitions, which is wrong. It needs to be one of these. Alright, now we should be good. Hopefully I didn't kill it. Trim some stuff while things are ticking over. There we go.
Continues to build as city centers across the globe prepare.
While we prepare for new operations and continue our research, we can pass time by scanning at sites like this one. On your order, we'll start our scans on the surrounding area.
Okay. So this one it couldn't satisfy, yeah, because it's saying it can't satisfy it. It only says if it can satisfy it, so we'll have to find some military assets. I got a non-state access. Oh right, of course, this is an issue. I'm an idiot because I missed the issue entirely. Oh no, count reserves from group name. Okay, it's hitting up a none. Access none of template. Group name. Group name. Okay, count reserves from group name. Unit count, character template. Yeah, so for each unit count which has a character template, you should find one character template, and then I use that character template to get what I need. Might just do a count here. Oh no, it'll get the same bug. So we'll hopefully see a result here. Okay, let's try her again. What have you done? Pangolins. Well, at least you weren't wrong about something important. I'll do something else while I'm waiting. I shall read code. Make sure I haven't made a dumb mistake. So count reserves from group name. I'm an idiot. Wait, no, that's fine. Generic unit count character template, that is correct. I would have failed type checking anyway if I'd done it wrong. What I might do is just start writing a function for, while I'm waiting for this to run up, I'll start writing a function for building the squad itself. So once it's done the count, if it's valid, then it'll be something like asset build squad. Build squad definition from reserves. And we've got a name. Sorry, not a name. We've got a squad definition called squad def. And what we'll be constructing is a strategy asset squad. Alright, so the squad got the basics, which will be squad type and role. Squad type comes from the ID. And the role, so we'll always determine the role as well. So we'll say it's specifically for this role. Okay, can build squad def ID squad locally. So do a asset dot build squad definition from reserves. Break the for each. Make sure it goes status.roll. This will be terrible. This doesn't technically work, but we'll try it. This is taking way too long. Kill that process for now. Too long. I'm gonna figure out why sometimes the build takes forever. Like, I mean, like it just takes forever to run up, and then sometimes it just runs up straight away. I'm not entirely sure why. Alright, we need a for each on a roll as well. Able to create. We want to do this. able to create. Alright, we'll just see what this does and then we'll go back to our agreement.
Excitement continues to build as city centers of
While we prepare for new operations and continue our research, we can pass time by scanning at sites like this one. On your order, we'll start our scans on the surrounding area.
Okay. So that military tick somewhere. Still acting non-template. Burger. Okay, that's no good. I'll see if there's something wrong about the checking unit count for maybe I've just misspelled some of the counts entirely. That wouldn't. Yeah, no, I've just probably done a done typo in the reserves. Let's double check that before we run up again. Squad. Game board. That's where it's at. Shield. Shield bearer M1. Only M2, right, that would be why. Okay, M2 for shield bearers, minimum. Stun lancers, we can have M1, and advent troopers. We can have it M1 and advent captains, okay. I got it. Alright, while able to create and status dot quantity is less than status dot quantity needed. Alright, so we do that. And then we go asset status. Dot quantity plus equal 1. And we break out of the for each. So the only way it's going to get out of that 4 each with that while loop able to continue going is if it creates something. And if it can't create anything, then it will break out with a false able to create. Right, I think that's sort of it. And then what we'll do near the end here is we'll just update asset status status ix dot quantity equals status dot quantity. Need to learn more about how that all works, to be honest. All right. Rather, how mutability works, because I'm pretty sure structs get copied, but yeah, I need to do some reading. What else I can look at? I can look at the squad creation. Build squad definition from reserves. Right, so we're going to build a squad and we're going to add it to the array of squads. So we're going to fill it up with generic unit counts based on what we can pull. First. Alright. Hopefully we shouldn't be too far off building squads. This should feels like once we get to this point, then yeah, like people have loved that loved that aspect of it ever since it's yeah.
While we prepare for new operations and continue our research, we can pass time by scanning at sites like this one. On your order, we'll start our scans on the surrounding area.
The forum I frequent, every time it's been shown, they're like, oh yeah, this is hilarious. So I'm happy to keep it as it is for the moment. Alright, so checked all the templates, alright? But none of them were possible by the looks of it. Alright. So now I need to check my counting. build, and I'll carry on with the other algorithm while I'm at it. Alright, so we're going to just fill this with generic units for now. So squad.members, generic units, yeah. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to iterate through each of the squad definitions. So we need a member def. So we'll find a generic unit that can satisfy it, and then we'll bung it on the list. That's pretty much it. So function reserve. Find reserve for group name. This is a little bit different in counting reserves in that we're only going to get one particular thing to satisfy it. So that's going to be one of these unit counts. So we have to sort of do this. Look something like this. Alright, that's what we're after. Sort of. That'll do. Alright, if squad def dot leader dot group name is not equal, then we're going to do group name stuff. So we're going to find someone who can, we're going to find reserves for reserve count equals, so this is after it's been verified. So squad leader, find reserves for group name based on squad dot leader dot group name. Template name. Okay, so we've got reserve count there. Find reserves for group name. Once we've got the reserve count, then we'll squad.generic units. So we'll go squad count dot template, character template equals reserve count dot character template. And then squad count dot index, sorry, count equals 1. Actually, it will leader squad dot leader dot count. And we'll pretty much do the same thing here, except this time we're getting the reserve count. Done. Okay. Okay, so that's the first, and now we iterate through the rest of the squad. So for each squad def dot member def, members, followers. And it'll look a little like this. Only this time we're doing something more like this. Int unit ix. So yeah, we get a reserve count, and rather than building this out, what we're going to do is go if, and then we're going to go unit ix. And what are we going to do with that? We're going to go member def reserve count dot template name, reserve count dot character template rather. If unit ix, that means we don't need a new one. Actually, what we can do is we can drag all this code underneath. So we'll put this guy here, drop it down. So that's going to look like that. So you get the reserve count and then you use that to do the rest. So if index IE, if it's not that, then you do this and you add it to the item. Otherwise, what you're going to do is go squad dot generic units unit ix count dot count plus equals squad dot leaders member def dot count rather. Alright, this one's not launching by the looks of it, so I might just run it again. Yeah, I think that's it. And then finally at the end you go squads.squad, squads dot add item squad, and you are done. And we go log added squad squad type. Now I am aware I have not deducted from the squad count yet, so I will do that. Might just get this through the compiler and then do the deduction. Generic units 201. Okay, let's do another build. More errors. Alright, 323. Alright, just do that. 267. Where I return none again. Then unknown member leader instruct strategy asset squad. Squad def dot leader. Right, that'll do. Hopefully. Uh, 212. I've missed one. Let's try again. That was quick. That might have been one of the... I don't even know what XCOM's doing anymore. I don't even know which build this is. Find out in a moment, I guess.
Excitement continues to build as city centers.
While we prepare for new operations and continue our research, we can pass time by scanning at sites like this one. On your order, we'll start our scans on the surrounding area.
Not finding anything. That is unfortunate. Advent Trooper M1. It's done like there should be no excuse for that. We've got to change this to member def. Group name. Templates. Count character template. Of template dot character group name. And then unit count dot count. That'll do. Alright, hopefully I can get some good information out of that. I was really hoping I'd get to be able to build a squad by the end of this one, but might not be quite there by the end of tonight. More errors. 242. I'm going to use member def there. got to find out why this is happening, because it's kind of frustrating to have a build take this long. Maybe if I start another one, it'll start almost immediately. Alright, what am I gonna do here? I don't think anyone really wants to watch me watch a build. I'm getting to this point where I don't want to really do stuff blind, but maybe I will. Alright. Let's continue on. And function deduct from reserves. Template name. So name, template name, and count, which will be an integer. That looks like that. Pretty sure. Return false, return true. Easy peasy. That was wrong code. That'll be alright. Okay, so can build squad def determines whether we can do it or not, and then this one here will actually do it. Each time we deduct, so each time we do this, we also need to deduct. So deduct from reserves, member def. Reserve count dot character template and reserve count member def dot count. So I was going to do that, and up here it's going to do this, and it becomes clear that I can now actually do this here because the code is identical. So that's all good too. This is annoying. Why is this taking so long? Alright, I'm gonna have to take a break because I don't know why this isn't building. I felt like I got pretty close, or it's building, and it's building fine. Maybe I'll try and run build solution and then run debugger and see what happens. But this will have to be my last try. If it doesn't build in any sort of due course after this, then we'll go from there. Sometimes it just gets slower and slower and slower and actually speeds up once I take a break. Alright, start debugging. Let's see how we go. Ah, here we go. Wonder if I'm doing something like I'm accidentally clicking on the box or something like that, and that's causing it to lose focus. Like if you focus it the wrong way, it actually halts the loading process. Maybe that's what's happening.
Continues to build as city centers.
While While we prepare for new operations and continue our research, we can pass time by scanning at sites like this one. On your order, we'll start our scans on the surrounding area.
Okay, here we go. Cannot, wait a second. So, cannot satisfy Advent Trooper. Advent Trooper. Oh, I'm an idiot. Okay. Advent Trooper. Advent Shield Bearer. Advent Stun Lancer. Ah, jeez, okay. Alright, let's go. Add Trooper. Advent Trooper. Advent Captain. Advent Captain. Let's bring up the remainder of the default characters because we've got Advent Mech, Advent Mech, yep. Advent Psi. Yep. Go away. I think that's it. Everything started working now. Berserker. Viper. Cerberus. Cyberus, rather. Yep. Muton. Okay. So I think we might be okay now. Let's try a new build.
While we prepare for new operations and continue our research, we can pass time by scanning at sites like this one. On your order, we'll start our scans on the surrounding area.
Here we go. So counted out can build Advent Riot Squad locally. So it does it, but then it runs into some dramas and detonates itself. Alright, well, a bunch of bugs happened, but at least we got most of the way in. Access none manager. Oh, okay. Alright, let's grab the log. Okay, launch log. None. I need to do better there. Here's the access none manager. It's in find reserves group name. Ah, I forgot to get the manager. Right. Okay, I might leave it there. And then next time we'll actually try and fight these squads, whatever they are. Yeah, maybe. But I'm going to spend some time on Highlanders before I do that. Compose from local reserves based on need. Squads created. Cities have initial sort of inventory, reserves, and structures available in config. Right, that'll do. Alright, that'll do for me for tonight. Thanks for stopping by. Catch you next time.